Now, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and transition to Janae, Ashley Janae, whatever. Tell me this, man. Does Nicole ever run into divestors?
Yeah, I think she's run into a couple of them.
Uh huh.
Uh, and her thing is that if they can't find love what they're looking for in the black community, you can't find it. If you have to go out, you have to go out.
Mm-hmm.
But this ain't
Mm-hmm.
love. This ain't what this about. This
Right.
ain't about love, family, or legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what her content is aimed towards: love, family, and legacy. That ain't what
Right.
this is.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I'll be real curious to know, what her thoughts are, man, on divestors, man, because just like I might be considered cold hearted about this, man, but I don't think she deserved to die or nothing, but it really don't move the needle as far as I'm concerned. I'm like, if you gonna just choose your mate just because of a skin tone or a skin color, get what you get. You know what I mean? You want to ignore red flags, shit. Well, do it at your detriment. You know what I mean? Play
Mm-hmm.
stupid games, win stupid prizes,
Stupid
man.
prizes. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So let's go ahead. I'm just perusing.
Well, it's that game where they think that a white man can save them from the circumstances of where they come from. Is what it
Mm-hmm.
is. A lot of black folks are trying, both men and women, but black women seem to have it worse than others. I would say they're
Mm-hmm.
really traumatized by the background and their experiences. I don't know whether it's shame. I don't know whether it's trauma. I don't know what has happened, but a lot of them think that, and a lot of it's the straight up finesse game.
Mm-hmm.
They think that they can escape their experiences in their past. They think they can outrun their past by getting a white man.
Right.
And there was this book that I was turned on to by Nicole, my wife, and it's this manual. I mean, it's a white man wrote a book, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a book about how to date black women.
All right.
And it talks about playing on the fact that they don't have a father.
Oh
It
wow.
talks about all the psychological triggers and cues that you go through when you're dating black women, and how those triggers and cues manifest themselves when they're dating white men, and how to lean into those cues and lean into that trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually wrote a book about this,
Okay.
basically telling them, in essence, how to get over on black women. When I read that book didn't do anything but confirm and affirm what I had known about white men all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give a caveat. It is possible to find love outside of your racial group. I'm not speaking about that.
Mm-hmm.
This divester shit is not about love. It's an extension of the finesse, but they're finessing a group of men that represent a substantial degree of power and influence in American society.
Mm-hmm.
You can play them finesse games with other pole niggas. You can play them finesse games with athletes. You can play them finesse games with rappers and entertainers and actors. But you can't really play that game like that with white men in this society,
Okay.
because they're at the top of the socio-economic ladder. Does that mean you can't hit a lick off of them? No, that's not what that means. But this little mean spirited game where you think you just gonna use these white men's wealth into perpetuity and shit like that, because it's I have seen black women to try to run that game on these white men.
Right.
Dig into their daughter hunger, because a lot of these old unattractive white men have this weird type of incestuous vibe to them, where there is this deep daughter hunger mixed up with their sexual attraction towards black women. And a lot of a vast sector of these white men just have a hankering, for some slum booty.
Okay.
Is what it is. A lot of these white men just want to explore the exotic nature of dealing with oppressed women. Frantz Fanon talks about this in The Wretched of the Earth. He talks about this type of psychosexual relationship. Dr. Huey P. Newton also talked about this in To Die for the People. He wrote this classical essay about penis envy. And he talks about these psychosexual urges and what they represent politically and how they play themselves out. And so a lot of this undergirds the relationship that they have with white men, because they know more times than not a white man is going to write the check that they cashed.
Mm-hmm.
They know more times than not the white man is going to extend the credit to them for the car that they're driving or for the mortgage that they get. So there is a subconscious respect and admiration for that man because he represents power. And as we know, power is or has been said to be the greatest aphrodisiac.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so they see this as what they call, what the old hoes used to call back in the 60s and 70s. The old hoes had a term for this. It was called a steady scene. When they had a bona fide trick that was going to put them up for life so they wouldn't have to be on the blade, they would find them a rich trick and they would call him a steady scene.
Okay.
Meaning he was going to constantly, keep paying and keep paying. And he was their exit out. This steady scene was their exit out of the game. So when they got out of the game, they find some of these old white tricks or old black tricks that were retired. And so after they couldn't command as much money on the blade no more, he was their exit strategy after the pimp had kicked them to the curb.
Mm.
And so that's what a lot of these divestors are looking for. A lot of these divestors are looking for steady scenes because A, they don't have any possibility of getting a husband. And it's not simply because of them, but it's because of the dating market in Black America and how fucked up and contorted it is. It also has a lot to do with their trauma and their background and their mental health, their social and economic conditions and their economic reality. So a lot of these divestors are looking for steady scenes, and they will willingly play into the sexual stereotype and slum fetishes of a lot of white men to get that steady scene. Or they call that steady scene today, they call it the soft life.
Okay.
That's what it's called today, but it's only a steady scene. The language of the old hoes, I'm using the language of the old hoes of the 60s and 70s. They got a steady scene. Today they call it the soft life.
Right.
But a lot of these white zaddies, they don't intend to let you leech off them forever. Once they're done with you, they put your ass right back on the block. And that's what Superhead said when she tried the same thing. She just didn't get unalived.
Mm.
She did the same thing with Bill Maher. And she came out and said it. She said flat out, she said, a lot of these wealthy white men, she said that they're racist. And she said what they do, she said they never date the Black women that are their equal. It's always the Black stripper or the Black porn star, or in other words, the hood rat.
Mm-hmm.
So when they get mad at you, you and your friends are ghetto, and they pretty much, once they're done with you, they put you back where they found you.
Mm. Wow.
And that's what this Divester shit is. It's a savior complex and a hunger for a steady scene that never really occurs in most instances. Now, some of them get lucky. Some of them get lucky. Like, I'll tell you one right now. Amber Rose. Amber Rose is looking for a steady scene. That bitch ain't MAGA.
All right.
She don't know nothing about no Republican politics. She over there looking for a white man that's going to give her her 401k plan.
Okay.
She looking for a retirement plan. She over there looking for a white zaddy as a permanency. That's the new hustle now, by the way.
Uh-huh.
The Divester shit is the new hustle for a lot of Black women.
To go along with the nerd trapping and the trick trapping.
Yep. The nerd hunting and the trick trapping.
Yeah.
Along with the nerd hunting and the trick trapping is going after these white men looking for steady. Now all of them are automatically conservative and Republicans now.
Mm.
All of them now want to be trad wives while dressing half naked. You want to be a traditional wife while you dressing like a hoe on the blade.
Yeah.
That's the divesting shit is it's the pivot for a lot of black women because they look at those conservative white men as men having money.
Mm.
So, going over there and doing the zaddy worship is a way for them to ingratiate themselves in that community.
Mm.
That ain't got nothing to do with love.
Right.
That ain't got nothing to do with love. That ain't got nothing to do with respect and honor. That ain't got nothing to do with legacy. That ain't got nothing to do with anything. It's just them trying to get a steady scene. That's all divesting is. It's black women trying to get a steady scene.
Mm, mm, mm. Hey, well, check it. Let's try and look at an update of this shit, man, right quick. See what people got going on, what they saying about the update on the case. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
New disturbing details that have come out about Ashlee Jenae and what happened to her in Tanzania. If you guys don't know who Ashlee Jenae is, she is a popular influencer. She has over 80,000 followers just on Instagram alone, but
Here
across
we go with
all
another
media,
goddamn
she has
social
a
media
huge imprint.
influencer.
Right.
Okay. So what happened to her? She's been dating this guy for a while. He actually is a crypto millionaire. More on that later, because some people say he might be broke, broke, but that doesn't matter right now. Or does it? Hold that in your head. Anyway, let me just catch up with the people that are just coming in. Ashlee went to Tanzania. Okay. It was an exotic safari. She got engaged to the man of her dreams. It should have been incredible. And she also got engaged on her 31st birthday, which, okay, should have been incredible. Exotic location, gorgeous girl. She even posted about it. She posted the engagement, she posted the birthday celebration, beautiful things. What happened after that? She was brought back in the casket. A day later, she passed away from what her fiance and the hotel are saying suicide. Her best friend, who was a huge PR agent, rang the bell and got it out on the blogs because our State Department, Tanzania's State Department, and nobody was talking about it. They are all saying that is cap. She would never. And something is not right. Well, guess what? There's actually been an article that has been discovered. TMZ has also covered it about the way everything we thought that happened did not happen. And if this is true, and these are direct quotes from the Tanzanian police, along with TMZ, yeah, something's going on. And I believe, and I'm starting to believe her family when they are saying her boyfriend and anybody around her needs to be questioned way, way more. Okay, let's get into this because this is going to shock you. 1 second. Okay, so TMZ is reporting. Let me just run through this because I have other information, but it's important you hear this. Influencer Ashlee Jenae had blowout with fiance before death, the Tanzania cops say. Ashlee Jenae was involved in a dispute with her fiance, Joe McCann, before her tragic death in Tanzania earlier this month, something local police now say is part of an active investigation. According to the North Unguja Regional Police Commander, Benedict Mapujira, apologies if I'm butchering that. The couple had a falling out at a luxury resort, Zori Zanzibar. The hotel staff stepping in and the hotel staff had to separate them. They stepped in during an incident and had to separate them and put them in different rooms. They said the situation escalated enough for staff to alert authorities with concerns raised about Ashley's well being, prompting a report to the police station. Her family said Ashlee, whose real name is Ashlee Robinson, was found unconscious in her villa and rushed to the hospital. Police say she died the following day on Friday the 10th, and local news report indicates that police believe she died of suicide. Her father tells TMZ that that was the early narrative from
She got to
police,
have done
but
that on
stresses the
purpose.
family is now involved and the
Back.
investigation is
Shit, hold on, hold
ongoing.
on, hold on.
He adds they've been in
The fuck?
contact with the embassy
Where's the?
and the funeral director, and as of now, there's still no.
Say what now?
Suicide
I think she's doing that for
on
YouTube
purpose.
because,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, because I think that if you actually say that word, you get demonetized or
I'm
something.
sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. We are living in Orwell's 1984, baby.
official ruling in her cause of death. Okay, you guys, why is this so important? Well, obviously, it's new information, but this leads to a lot more questions. So that's what TMZ said. But it actually dug down and got to the official report. And this is where things really, really fall apart. Okay. One, in a resort that big, okay. So it says that she committed suicide. Let's just say she did. You have to ask, and some people did ask, how bad did he mentally torture her that she did that on her birthday trip right after getting engaged? Also, the official report says that she was with an item of a piece of clothing, a piece of fabric from her own clothing. Now, where did this happen? They said she tried to do it in the closet. It was a piece of her own clothing. Very, very, very known for. They don't have the forensic capability. She would hurt herself. They said that they feared she would get hurt, so they separated themselves. Obviously, distraught. Let's just say that the witnesses can come back and say, "No, no, no, you don't understand. We feared she was going to hurt herself." Passed away from DV.
Okay. All right. We get the gist of it. Just in case anybody was wondering who she was and what happened and all that, we pretty much got that. All right, man. Well, I don't know the specifics of it, Tony, but I mean, I pretty much know skillets, and the skillet, like I said, this don't make an excuse for what happened to her, but it's that mouth, man. It's that mouth, nigga. If you a white boy, and I don't know if you ain't really used to it, and then you gotta hear a black woman bumping her gums, man, she'll take you there, dog. She'll take you there, man. I'm trying to tell you, boy. It's been many a day, man. I would just be sitting, and I'll be looking at a bitch dumbfounded, and I'll be like, bitch, I don't believe you just said that to me. I do not believe you just said that to me, And I'll be like, uh-huh. So for everybody that would think that, Big Mike is a woman beater, believe me, there's plenty of times where I feel like I need to beat a bitch's ass just from what they said to me, man. But I held my hand. I held steady. I did not give in to the dark side, man. Shit. So I don't know, man. You got any theories, man, about what actually happened?
So first, I'll start with a question. I asked you
Okay.
this question for the last show. I ask it to you again.
Okay.
You gonna mean to tell me that there are sometimes you haven't wanted to DDT a bitch?
Well, yeah, you know me. Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right. That's all I'll say about that. Now,
Okay.
with respect to this,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that there's no State Department investigation, no
Okay.
official State Department. So that tells me a whole lot right there.
Mm-hmm.
What I think happened, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I think he unalived that woman.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
I think he unalived that woman, and I don't think it was necessarily her mouth. I
Mm-hmm.
think it was the fact that you know he got reality set in, and he was not about to be set up in a situation where he could be fleeced by this woman for the rest of it. And he supposedly proposed to her. So I know some people gonna say, well, he proposed, and all of that.
Well, how he
So,
gonna be fleeced by her? He ain't married to her yet.
well, the possibility of being married to and have her fleecing is what I'm saying. What I'm
Get
saying
close to
is,
your mic. Get close to your mic.
what I'm saying is he ain't going for the banana in the tailpipe. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And this was just his way out. I think he unalived her because he had no intention of marrying her, and this was his way of getting rid of her. I think he planned on doing this from the moment that they stepped on the plane. I think this is part of a plan. He had planned to unalive this woman from the gate. And I'm not buying that shit about how much he loved her and so forth. So I'm not buying all the ceremony of him. I'm not buying any of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think he planned to unalive her from the gate. And this was the most expedient way for him to do it because it wouldn't come back to him and he wouldn't have to face investigation by American authorities. Nobody gives a shit about it. It happened in a developing country. One of the African countries is where it happened in.
Mm-hmm.
He knew this was a way to get rid of it. There would be no investigation and nobody would say anything. And he didn't give a fuck about how it looked, long as he didn't get arrested or he didn't get charged. And it's just very, very expedient. That's what I think.
That was my initial thought process, but then I was like, but wait a minute, he ain't married to the broad yet. You know what I mean? Yeah, if he was married to her, yeah, that would definitely be motive, if you ask me. But he wasn't
Well,
married.
sometimes what niggas would do, they'll make a lot of promise. What dudes would do, they get caught in that post nut conversation
Mm-hmm.
and they make a lot of promises that they don't intend to keep and they don't have the balls to just back out of it and say no. And so what they'll do is they'll go through with shit all the while knowing that they don't want to do it, things of that nature. So maybe that was the case. I don't know, but I do believe he's involved in this. I don't think he's innocent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. I don't think she randomly died from some. No, I don't think she randomly died from suicide. From suicide. I don't think it's suicide. I don't think that this was it. I don't think this was random. Somebody said that coincidence is the hand of God in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wouldn't go so far as to say God, God wanted this woman dead. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that when shit looks too random, it's probably not a coincidence. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely believe he did the do, man, but I just think it sprang out of some sort of argument for whatever reason, and she did the snapdragon on him, man, and for whatever reason he couldn't digest it, man. She said something, to get under his skin, man. He went ahead. He was like, "Oh hell nah, you got to go." Mm-hmm.
Because this is how they get rid of women that are in the international sex trafficking game.
Yeah, that's true.
When they get tired of uh, transporting hoes, and when they don't make no money and hoes become liability, they take them overseas and kill them.
Yeah.
This is how they kill them. This is why nobody investigates or bothers to look for them if they are foreign soil. And then you have to factor into it. She black anyway.
Yep.
And black people don't have no value worldwide. I hate to say that, but it's true. Nobody gives a fuck about when a nigga's missing. They don't care.
No.
So this was an excellent way for him to do what he did. Well, let me rephrase that. This would be a very, very convenient way for her to disappear, and nobody would ask any questions.
Shit. Yeah, and when I'm looking at her, you know what I mean? I'm not a really big fan of that dolled up look that these broads be having, man, with all that fake hair and caked on makeup, and you know what I mean? She all right, man, but I don't know, man. Just like I just be looking at a lot of these broads, man. I'd be like, can you take all that makeup off and all that bullshit off? Because you know that if she take all that shit off, like if she actually becomes somebody's wife, you got to go to sleep with her, and when she wake up in the morning, she don't look like that, man. You know what I mean? She don't look like that, and I just hate the fake ass persona of these broads, man. It's just, I mean, man, like when I meet a woman that like has her natural hair, man, you know how flabbergasted I be when I be looking at a broad. I be like, is that your hair? That's one thing I used to love about Xena, man. Oh my God, she has such pretty hair. You know what I mean? It was her natural hair and shit, and it was just so lustful. I was just like, oh, look at your hair. You know what I mean? I feel like a bitch, man. I was so enamored by her hair. I'm like, look at your hair. And she'd be like, dang, you always talk about my hair. I'm like, yeah, it's your hair. Look at it. It's yours. I hate to see bitch wearing wigs and shit. That shit is disgusting. I had a female over, man, and man, it was one of them dates from hell. We was sitting on the couch and I had my arm around her, and man, her face smelled like a skunk, but it was because of, I don't know, it was her wig or her hair plug, whatever. It was in her hair, man. I'm just like, these bitches, man, they don't wash their hair for years because they be trying to keep that shit in their head, man. Oh, would you try to say something?
Yeah. Well, the thing is that, but there's also a level to it. There's also a level to it that we don't discuss. When you see a woman with her real hair, that represents original. You're meeting the real person.
Yeah.
You're not meeting their dolled up representative.
Mm-hmm.
And I would rather have a woman with stretch marks than a woman with a BBL.
Right.
See what
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a costume. I want the
Mm.
real person, warts and all.
Man.
I want the real. I don't want perfection. I want flawed perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is whatever it is. I don't need all that other shit.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is whatever it is. Warts and all, man. I'm not trying for a Barbie doll. That's I'm not interested I'm not interested in, but Barbie dolls hold no illusion to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that shit is I'm not impressed by that.
Good Lord, man. Yeah. Well, once again, well, condolences to the family, man. You know what I mean? Man, that's crazy. That's a rough way to go, man. When she's looked like she was living her best life and enjoying herself, and just all of a sudden, out of the blue, something like this happened. I know that's crazy, man. But it doesn't seem to be like the 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 so-called boyfriend don't seem to be skipping a beat though, man. You know, he don't really seem too concerned. He don't seem to be too remorseful. Yeah, man. Yeah, he's definitely carrying on like he had something to do with it, man. He's
He ain't doing
definitely
the coolie high shit. It's so hard to say goodbye to
right.
yesterday. He moving on. You
Yeah.
see? Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like I said, it don't surprise me, man, because I think to a certain extent, and they don't like to hear this because a lot of these divestors and black women like to live in Delulu land.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that they have the and I know and some of it's pity I feel for 'em. Some of it is bewilderment
Mm-hmm.
because they just have this desire so hard to prove that they have value.
Mm-hmm.
That's the sad thing. They just want people to know that they have value. And I understand that, man. You know, in spite of all the shit that we say, at the end of the day, the women in the black community do have value. It's just so much shit that's going on in the black community. It's
Mm-hmm.
just so much shit going
Thank
on
you.
all at the same time. What was that?
Oh, my fault. I was moving some videos.
Oh, it's so much shit that's going on in the black community all at the same time. And so when I give these criticisms, it's not a criticism when I'm arguing that our community is born defective. I'm saying that this community is underdeveloped for a lot of circumstances and reasons that we don't want to talk about and admit to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So, in saying that, I understand why they have this overwhelming need to feel important and be important because this world don't place very much importance on black flesh. They just don't. And so if you believe that you're gonna get it by associating yourself or being in proximity to whiteness, that's just not gonna do
Mm-hmm.
it. It's just not gonna do it. I wrote an article 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, where I talked about, the Willises are gone.
Mm-hmm.
The Willises, I put it on the Negro Manosphere. The Willises the Willises were from the Jeffersons.
Yeah.
And I said that shit is over with. And I talked about how in that article, how when most black women marry white men, they actually make more money than the white men that they marry. But that's an inconvenient narrative to the divestors
Mm-hmm.
because they need to have that daddy experience. Daddy, buy me a pony. Because that's all that is. That's all this woman was exhibiting is the lack of a father. She telling on herself. They don't think that they are, but you are. You telling on yourself. And they go again, the book that I referenced, where they talk about in there how to play on these black the wounds that they have, the emotional wounds that they have from lack of a father and from being let down by the men and the fathers in their lives over and over again. how to lean and play into that and what those cues look like. But because nobody wants to talk about that or they won't admit it, it actually allows this white man to do what he did and get away with it. Because nobody want to admit the truth. You are playing a part in your own unaliving.
Shit. No, what I was noticing, man, is well, I'm out here. The Divestors are sick in the head, man, because no matter what happens, they're gonna try and spin it, no matter what, man, to make it somehow the black man's fault. You know what I mean? They're not gonna be.
They're gonna blame this white man.
No, they ain't gonna blame him, man. They're gonna find some way to somehow look at black men and be like, it's y'all's fault, man. You know, that's such a sick ass mindset. It's like, really? Okay. Okay, all right. You know what I mean? So I don't have no pity and no patience for broads that have that sort of mindset, man. I mean, that is so ultra dangerous. That's crazy. It's just like, what do a black man got to do with this? How can you actually somehow, some way spin this to bolster your narrative that black men ain't shit? If it wasn't for the black man not being shit, she wouldn't have had to date a white man. You know, that kind of shit.
Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch. You can't blame everything on what's going on in the community. Yes, I do indict the system and I indict the circumstances, but I also indict your response and your pathology to your oppression. That's an indictment too.
Yeah.
And some niggas want to be purposefully stupid. That's a choice too. And if you're purposefully stupid, you got to be held accountable for your purposeful stupidity.
All right, well, check it, man. We have done more than enough right here. Yeah, man. We've yeah, 2 hours of 40 minutes. Once again, you know, we're gonna break this on down, man. I don't know. I'm thinking about putting some of this stuff outside on the YouTube channel. I believe it's time to possibly try and get back out there in the public to try and bring in some more listeners, man. Because yeah, you see they blocked me off Facebook. Can't be on Facebook no more.
Wow.
Couldn't appeal that shit. I couldn't plead my case or nothing. They just kicked me the fuck off for no reason. I'm like, boy, it sucks to be a Donald Trump supporter, man. They gonna find any reason to get rid of your black ass, man. I'm like, what the fuck? I told you why they tried to get rid of me, right?
No, what happened?
Yeah, man. That motherfucker hit me up and said, we have found that your channel what do they say? Encourages human trafficking. I'm like, what?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you're definitely gonna have to be careful about what you put up here for this podcast. Because I'm sure I said some shit that's gonna ring some bells, man. So
oh no, man. Nah. We ain't said nothing on here about none of that shit, man. You know, that's the thing about the whole Facebook thing. Like, I didn't say anything about human trafficking, man. And they didn't show me what I said.
You don't have to. This is Animal Farm.
Yeah, I know that. You know what I mean? Yeah, so they can just accuse you of anything and you don't have no way to fight it or to rebut it. I'm like, well, can y'all show me what I said? You know, I didn't have any sort of recourse to fight it or not. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, we are definitely living in the last days, man. Yeah. George Animal Farm, 1984. Yeah, they trying to get rid of motherfuckers, you know, truth tellers, man. They're trying to get rid of motherfuckers like that, man. No doubt. If you shucking and jiving and talking about shit that don't mean nothing, you know, you get free reign, man. But anything that upsets the apple cart, you know, they're going to try and make sure that you don't get no traction, man. Shit. So, me and you, we innocent in that regard, man. Even with what we did today, man. Everything we did was above board and common sense. We gave everybody enough smoke to maintain the balance, the men and the women. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, bruh. So, somehow, some way, I definitely got to get out there and get some daylight, man, so we can bring some more fellas over into the Patreon, man. Shit, because it was growing for a little bit until, like I said, they kicked me off Facebook. I was like, God damn, I'm just now seeing some dividends, man. Okay. Oh yeah, and they kicked me off Twitter too, around
Wow.
the same time. Right, this,
Excuse me, X.
yeah, yeah, and they said the same shit. And so I'm thinking this is AI. AI is like going through and they're using that as a convenient excuse to get rid of me. And I hardly ever posted on X. Hardly ever. Everything that I posted on X is stuff that I posted on YouTube. Shit. And they hit me up, human trafficking. I'm like, what is this human trafficking shit y'all talking about, man? I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? But they never show you what you posted or what you said. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, fellas, be careful out there, man, because the full press is on, man. The powers that be, they are definitely working hardcore to shut you down for any goddamn reason possible. Shit, man. So, all right, man. Shit. Any parting words? You got anything going on that the fellas should know, or shit? Or just tell them to stay tuned to the Patreon. What's going on?
Hello?
Yeah.
All right. Something happened. I'm back.
Yeah, man. Shit. Well, that's typically the clue or the cue for us to bounce whenever
Right.
this goddamn software start acting stupid like that, man.
Right.
So, like I said, before we bounce, you got anything you want to impress upon the fellas, or anything you got in the works, or you just want to tell them just stay tuned to the Patreon? What's going on with Tony?
Stay tuned to the Patreon. I am presently completing, believe it or not, I'm completing a book that will be out next year.
Right.
It's going to be a book on Malcolm X.
Okay.
It's going to be a different kind of book than what anybody has ever written. It's going to be a different angle, a different direction, and I'm completing the research for that right now. Or I'm, beginning the research for my book. It will be out next year. I'm not giving the title of it right now, but as the time gets closer, I will be revealing information about that right now. I'm also planning to make some moves by next year, do some things by next year. So, hey man, sign up for this Patreon. Support Mac City because you get some real shit over here. You get honesty over here. You get things according to how we see it, how we call it how we see it. We tell you about the losses. We tell you about the wins. We tell you about it all. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent. And this is what separates us from all the rest. This is why we could never have really been a part of the mass movement that they call the so-called manosphere, because we were just too honest. We were just too honest. And I don't think that they were really on the honesty shit. But Matt City has always kept it a brick. We've always kept it a stack. And, that's the way it is, and everybody knows that that's what it is. That's just the way it's going to be.
Facts.
So with that being said, man, that's it.
All right, fellas. Once again, man, go ahead and look at that scroll, that ticker tape at the bottom, man. If you want to go ahead and do a little something, put a little something in a tip jar. Tony's Cash App is down there. Big Mike's Cash App is out there. Also, we got merchandise store open. Yeah, we got that. I got 75, some of that Mac City logo merchandise for the fellas to get into, man. So yeah, do us a solid, man. Support the cause, man. And like I said, we really appreciate the fellas. Appreciate the fellas coming on through. Appreciate my boy Craig. Appreciate RH. And yeah, man. Hey, fellas, don't be shy, man. Go ahead and put something in the tip jar, baby. Yeah. All right. Big Mike, Tony Maceo, we out. Tony, do not hang up.